During this video, we will delve into the mechanical assembly on page 6 and 7 in the JPEGD workbook, uncovering key concepts that will enhance your understanding of mechanical assemblies. On the front page of the PowerPoint presentation, which is available on the JPEGD website, there are 3 visual tools to enhance your understanding of the specific drawing. The first tool will navigate to a video. The second and third tools will navigate to 2 PDF Rotate files to show you how the drawing is assembled. The first PDF Rotate shows where the assembly is not sectioned, and the second PDF Rotate shows where the assembly is sectioned as per question. When we click on the video to open the video, it shows the assembly of how all the different parts are assembled. It clearly outlines how each part is relative to all the other parts in the drawing. The video shows the same image as your exploded isometric drawing that is part of your given information. Take note that this is for illustration purposes only, to show how the parts will be assembled. The assembly consists of 7 different parts: the M24 nut, the washer, the pulley, the bush, the bracket, the grub screw that will thread into the shaft, and the shaft itself. Please take note, for this question, we will use an M24 nut, and we will be working in a scale of 2:1. The second PDF Rotate shows where the complete assembly is sectioned. Here it is clear how all the different parts are assembled and that certain parts in this assembly are not sectioned. You need to be able to identify the different parts for each individual drawing. The 3D PDF Rotate has specific functionalities to help you understand the assembly in detail. The red areas shows where hatching will be applicable on the different parts, and the grey areas show clearly where, according to our hatching principles, no hatching is done. We will discuss the hatching principles in detail at a later stage during this presentation. As previously mentioned, the 3D PDF Rotate has got functionalities that will help you understand the drawing better. So for instance, if you want to see a top view, you can rotate it so that you can see the top view. If you want to see, for instance, the left view, and also if you want to see, for instance, the right view, you can rotate it to see all the preferred views that you want to see of the specific drawing. You need to study the theory on sectional principles and also the exceptions on sections. This page is located on the cover page of chapter 2, and this will enhance your knowledge when answering assembly questions. As previously stated, we will discuss the hatching principles at a later stage during this presentation. It is very important to read through your question carefully. Given the exploded isometric drawing of parts of pulley assembly showing the position of each part relative to all the others. Also given is our orthographic views of each of the parts of the pulley assembly, and take note that we will be using a scale of 2:1 to complete this assembly. These orthographic views are the views that we will use to draw the assembly. Looking at the orthographic views, it is very important to identify the different orthographic views for each part. When we take the pulley, for example, the question can arise, which orthographic views of the pulley are in the given information? In the question, it is stipulated that the drawing is done in third angle orthographic projection. All mechanical assembly drawings are always done in third angle orthographic projection, which means that you need to know the placement of the different views very well. For third angle orthographic projection, the top view is always at the top, the front view right underneath the top view, the left view on the left of the front view, and the right view on the right of the front view. For this question, the required view is the front view. When we take a look at the exploded isometric, they gave you the front view on the right-hand side. That means that if I look in the direction of the arrow, I will only see the front view. To get back to the orthographic views, which one of these orthographic views of the pulley looks like the front view in the exploded isometric drawing, as seen from the direction of the arrow? And we can clearly see it's the one at the bottom, and with our prior knowledge of third angle orthographic projection, we know the top view is always at the top and the front view right underneath the top view. So all the given views are the top views and front views for each part, except for the grub screw, where the two views are placed next to each other, which leads us to the question, which orthographic views of the grub screw is given? If this is the front view, then this must be the left view. So to get a better understanding of this, we can look at the exploded isometric drawing. They did stipulate that this will be the front view in the direction of the arrow, and looking at the grub screw from the same direction, it is clear that the front view is the one on the right hand side and the left view is the one on the left hand side. Just to emphasize that these are the views that we will use to draw the assembly. When we read through the instructions, answer this question on page 7 and draw to a scale of 2:1 and in third angle orthographic projection the following view of the assembled parts of the pulley assembly. A sectional front view on cutting plane AA as seen from the direction of the arrow shown on the exploded isometric drawing. The cutting plane which passes through the vertical center line of the assembly is shown on the top view of the pulley part 3. And all drawings must comply with the guidelines contained in the South African National Standards 10111. Take note that for the different drawings, they can give the front view either on the right hand side or on the left hand side. If they give the front view on the right hand side, it's evident in this question, then the left view will be visible. Everything on the right hand side will not be visible, which means that the right view cannot be asked when the front view is given on the right hand side, because all the details for each part is not visible. The next important point in the question is the cutting plane that passes through the vertical center line, and it is shown the top view of the pulley part 3. On the exploded isometric, the vertical cutting plane will cut through all the parts of the complete assembly. Make sure you study and you know the exceptions on sections so that you can apply this to any given drawing. A more detailed explanation on the exceptions on sections and sectional principles will be discussed at a later stage during this presentation. When we look in the direction of the arrow to see the front view of the nut, we can clearly see the 3 faces of the nut, but sometimes they can rotate the nut so that only 2 faces are shown. Make sure that you not necessarily draw it as it's shown in the exploded isometric, but that we look at what the instructions in the notes is. So 3 faces of the M24 nut, and then also important, no hidden detail is required. For this specific question, the front view is given on the right hand side. In some instances, they can give the front view on the left hand side, as stated previously. So to emphasize the placement and visibility of views, we see that for this model, when the front view is given on the left side, then the right view will be on the right hand side. Make sure about third angle orthographic projection placement of the views. Our top view is always at the top. Our front view is always underneath our top view. Our left view on the left hand side of the front view, and our right view on the right hand side of the front view. It's evident that the right view is visible, but we cannot see the left view if we look from the direction of the arrow D, which means that the left view cannot be part of the question. That is why only these 3 views is our primary views, and then one of these views or all of these views can be asked as part of the question when the front view is given on the left. The following option, how the question can be asked, if the front view is on the right-hand side. This will entail that the left view will be on the left-hand side and is visible, but the right view, seen from the arrow at D, will not be visible and therefore cannot be asked as part of the drawing. For this scenario, the primary views will be the front, top, and left view. All or some of these views can be asked as part of your drawing. For this question, only the section of front view was asked. And looking at the placement of our views and working in third angle orthographic projection, we know by now that the top view is at the top, the front view is right underneath the top view, our left view on the left-hand side of the front view, the right view on the right-hand side of the front view, and then our required view for this drawing was our front view. Take note of the 6 stages of the planning process that we highlight before you start with your drawing. We worked through the question already and noted that a sectional front view was asked. We also know that the front view is given on the right-hand side of the exploded isometric. Orthographic views was also given, and we are working on a scale of 2 to 1. That entails that we will multiply all our dimensions on the orthographic views by 2. Make sure that you place your view on the page appropriately so that it fits on the page. As discussed previously in this video, and to look at the exploded isometric, we can see how this drawing will be assembled. So looking at our stage 2, determine which parts fit into each other. The shaft will fit through the bracket. The bush part will slide over the shaft. The pulley will slide over the bush part. And the washer will slide over the shaft. The grub screw will thread through the bracket into the shaft to prevent the shaft from sliding out, and the nut will be threaded over the threaded part of the shaft. The next stage in our planning process is to select a part to start with. For this question, the bracket will be the lowest point of the drawing, and if the shaft fits through the bracket, it becomes more evident that we will assemble this drawing from the bottom upwards. Our 4th stage is to add more and more parts to the drawing as they fit together until the assembly is complete. Here we refer to the first page of chapter 2 of mechanical assembly. It is very important that you study these formulas and constructions so that you will be able to apply these when answering mechanical assembly questions. For example, in a question, they can leave out the height for the nut or the height for the bolt head, and then you need to be able to apply these formulas to calculate those specific heights to complete the drawing. A more detailed explanation on bolt and nut construction is also available for viewing, and you need to know all formulas and constructions on this page very well. And this is also our 5th stage, where we state that if an assembly has a bolt or a nut, we must always draw an auxiliary view. Our 6th stage is we must complete the drawing by adding hatching on the sectional view. Just a couple of important points that we need to emphasize. These 9 components will not be sectioned because they are unique in their appearance, and we can easily distinguish between a shaft, a nut, a bolt, and a washer. The main reason why we will not section these components is because they have very little to no internal detail that is relevant. For example, if we take a bolt, we cut it right in the middle, it will look the same after the section as before the section. Thus, no internal detail to be shown. Take note that you also need to know the components that will not be hatched when sectioned longitudinally. For this drawing, we cut through spokes longitudinally. Here we can see on the top view, the cutting plane cuts through the spoke longitudinally, that means in its length, and this is part of the theory you need to know in order for you to apply it to your drawing. We will start, as previously stated, with our bracket, which is the lowest point in our drawing. We will add the parts from the bottom upwards. The bracket has 3 areas where there are threads, and take note that they are all internal threads. You must apply your knowledge regarding the calculation of the depth of the thread at this point. We have 2 internal threads at the base of the bracket. This means that a M16 bolt or screw can possibly be threaded into this hole. The application of the formulas and the different line types is very important when it comes to internal or external threads and will be part of most of your mechanical assembly drawings. The 16 next to the M is the diameter of the internal thread. This means from the left side of the thread to the right side of the thread will be 16 millimeters. From the center line to the right of the thread will be 8 millimeters, and from the center line to the left of the thread will be 8 millimeters. It will always be 0,1 times D. The D refers to the diameter of the hole or the internal thread or the shaft. So it will be 0,1 times 16, which is 1.6 millimeters. M is always equal to D. M refers to the metric systems for dimensions that we use in South Africa, and we work in millimeters. There is also an imperial system that is more commonly used abroad in other countries. For this M16 internal thread, the calculation then would be 0,1 times 16, which is 1,6 millimeters. The depth of the thread will therefore be 1,6 millimeters from the outside of the thread on the right to the outside of the thread on the left. In order to get the darker A-type line, we bring the dimension in from the left 1.6 millimeters, and we will bring the dimension in from the right 1.6 millimeters. It is very important to take note that the threads are always B-type lines, and the darker line for the hole is always an A-type line. The same will apply for the M18 hole. Here we can see the grub screw, the M9. Please take note that our scale was 2:1, and we had to multiply all our dimensions by 2. So for the grub screw, we will have a calculation of 2 times 9, which will give us 18. So for M18, so from the outside of the grub screw to the outside of the grub screw will be 18 millimeters. So we can see we've got the M18 internal thread, which means that the M18 grub screw will thread into this internal thread. So our calculation for the internal thread will be 0,1, which is our constant value, multiplied by the diameter, which is 18 millimeters, and that will give us a depth of 1.8 millimeters. So from the outside of the thread to the outside of the thread is 18 millimeters. Please take note again that our darker A-type line will be indicated for the hole, and the lighter B-type line will be indicated for the thread. The next part that we will add to our assembly is the shaft. Take note that the shaft is a part that will not be sectioned, as this means, as a rule, there won't be any hatching on the shaft because there is no internal detail. If we do have internal detail on the shaft, as we will see in this question, we will do part hatching to show the detail on the shaft. We will discuss in detail at a later stage how the hatching will look on the shaft. It's important to note that the given diameter for the shaft is M24, and the dimension for the nut is also M24, because the nut must thread onto the shaft. Here we can see the dimensions of M48. The question will be raised, why 48? This is because of our scale that we had to multiply all our dimensions by 2. 2 times 24 is a diameter of 48 millimeters. This means the thickness of the shaft will be 48 millimeters from the one side of the shaft to the other side of the shaft. Take note that we have an external screw thread and not an internal thread. For the external screw thread, the total width will be from the outside of the shaft to the other side of the shaft. And for the internal screw thread, it will be from the one side of the thread to the other side of the thread. In order for us to calculate the depth of the thread for the M48 bolt, we need to use the formula of 0,1 times the diameter, which is 48, so 0,1 times 48, which gives me 4,8 millimeters. Remember, our outside of the shaft is a darker A-type line, and when we want to draw the lighter B-type line, we need to bring it in from the right 4,8 millimeters and from the left 4,8 millimeters. We will indicate the start of the thread with a 45-degree chamfer that we're going to draw with our 45-degree set square, and the end of the thread with our 30-60-degree set square we will do a 60-degree chamfer. It is very important that you study and know the different chamfers and constructions so that any drawing that consists of a bolt or a nut can be correctly drawn. The next part that we will add to our assembly is the bush that will fit over the shaft, and the grub screw is threaded onto the left side. The grub screw is part of parts that are not sectioned, and we can clearly see the grub screw threaded through the bracket onto the shaft. It is very important to focus on the grub screw and the thread, because threads will be asked frequently when we do mechanical assembly drawings. The grub screw has an outer diameter of 18 millimeters, and the internal thread is 18 millimeters from the one side of the thread to the other side of the thread. This will mean the outside A-type line of the grub screw will take up the space of the B-type outside line of the internal thread. At the remainder of the thread, when nothing is threaded, we will indicate this small section as a B-type line on the outside and an A-type line on the inside. And where the grub screw takes the space of the internal thread, a darker A-type line will be drawn. Here we can see clearly where the external thread of the grub screw takes up the space for the internal thread of the hole. We will have the darker A-type line. At the remainder of the hole, when nothing is threaded, we will have the lighter B-type line. Also just important to take note of the 30-degree chamfer on the grub screw as it was given in the given information. This detail must be added as indicated, and the 2x2 millimeter slot also needs to be indicated. The next part that we will add is the pulley. Take note of your sectional principles. For this drawing, we have spokes, and components that are not hatched when cut longitudinally is rib, gear teeth and spokes, and for this drawing we do have spokes. Draw the pulley where it will fit over the bush, and the bottom of the pulley will rest on the shoulder of the bush part. The next part we will add to the assembly is the M24 nut as well as the washer. Both these parts are, according to our sectional principles, parts that will not be sectioned. In order to draw the M24 nut, it is very important to know the constructions for bolts and nuts, as well as the formulas to calculate the height for the nut in this circumstance. When drawing a nut or a bolt, you must always draw an auxiliary view, because the dimension details from the side to the end of the first face is not given, as well as from the left side to the end of the second face is not given, and from the second face to the end of the third face is also not given. The question stipulates that we need to show 3 faces of the M24 nut, and that all constructions need to be shown, which means that we are not allowed to use a boulder nut stencil. You need to study your theory on boulder nut construction so that you can answer any boulder nut construction at any given question. With reference to the auxiliary view, it is important to understand how we will determine the diameter of the circle and how to draw the hexagon. Remember, our scale is 2:1 and we have to multiply all the dimensions by 2. So for this calculation, it will be 24 times 2 equals 48 millimeters. And the formula that we will apply is the diameter multiplied by the constant value of 1.5. It's 48 multiplied by 1.5, which will give me 72 millimeters. So to convert it back to my radius, it will be radius 36. We have our center line positioned right in the middle of the shaft where the nut must be placed. Draw a horizontal center line at any appropriate distance away from the front view and draw the circle or semicircle with a radius of 36. We will then draw the hexagon on the outside of the circle, never on the inside. The auxiliary view will give us the 4 points that we need to project back to the second view. And that will give us our 1, 2, 3 faces as it was asked in the question. Refer to the page at the front page of this chapter to familiarize yourself with the chamfers for boulder nut construction. When 3 faces are shown, we will chamfer the nut on the far left as well as the far right on 30 degrees. So to start our construction, from the left corner of the construction rectangle, we will draw with our 60-degree set square a construction line to the center line as well as from the right corner. That will give us the center for the bigger arc. We will then, with our 60-degree set square, draw a line from the first face, right hand corner, to get our smaller arc for the first face. Then for the third face, we will draw with our 60-degree set square a 60-degree line to get the center point for the smaller arc on the third face. We will then do our 30-degree chamfers on the far left as well as on the far right, and then we will connect the two chamfers. A more detailed video is available for viewing on bolt and nut construction. The next step is to darken the visible outer lines. Here it is important to determine what will be visible and what will not be visible, as we will apply our hatching after this. Here we can see clearly the A-type thread of the grub screw takes up the space of the B-type line of the internal thread. Therefore, it becomes a darker A-type line. The small part that is not threaded will stay a darker A-type line. The entire part of the internal thread is not threaded, therefore this will stay a B-type line. It is very important to know your principles and exceptions on sections to identify components that are not sectioned and components that are not hatched when it is sectioned longitudinally. Spokes is part of the drawing, shaft and nut is part of the drawing, as well as a washer and a screw. Take note of the exception if we see detail on the shaft. For this drawing, the grub screw threads partially into the shaft. Although the theory states that we are not allowed to section a shaft, it is very important to show the internal detail on the shaft, and therefore we will show that detail by doing a part section. We can see the part section around the area showing the internal detail. This line for the part section is a freehand B-type line. When we look at the hatching at the grub screw, we can clearly see the hatching stop against the darker A-type line of the external thread for the grub screw. At the smaller area for the internal thread, where the thread is not threaded, the hatching will go right through the B-type line and will stop against the darker A-type line. You can look for the internal thread as well. Where nothing is threaded, the hatching will go right through the B-type line and it will stop against the darker A-type line. The spokes will not get any hatching because it is sectioned longitudinally, and then for our other parts that is hatched, it's either in a different direction or the spacing of the hatching will be different. And this concludes our explanation for page 6 and 7.